Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name is Linda Battellini, and I serve as the treasurer of the congregation and a member of the Board of Trustees. We are a community of diverse theologies, of people with various cultural, racial, and class backgrounds, people with a broad range of gender and sexual identities, and people with disabilities and abilities, both seen and unseen. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to join us with your whole self, here where we come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose together. Plan to do your holiday shopping next week at the UUCA Arts and Crafts Fair next weekend. Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4, both days. More than 50 artists will offer unique art, jewelry, pottery, soaps, international gifts, and much more. It's a win-win-win. You can do your shopping while you're here, visiting Santa or coming for the service. You get to support local artists, and the fair serves as a fundraiser for UUCA as the artists pay to participate. It's always a great opportunity. In today's service, we explore the meaning of Advent to our UU faith. I use the faith intentionally. My faith is not in a creed or ideas that the church holds me to. I've learned to have faith in many situations and many people. Faith that this congregation will come through in tough times, and faith that people will bring their loving compassion to bear when one of us is in need. But what does that have to do with Advent? This is our first week of Advent. To me, the idea of waiting in Advent also involves trusting with faith that a promise will be kept or an important need will be met. The Advent season is, for me, a time to anticipate the winter holidays when we can come together to celebrate the community that we count on in the darkness, as we wait for the return of the light and the start of a new year after the winter solstice. We're glad you're here today with us in our community of faith. Please stay for coffee after the service and pick up a Secret Santa tag and find just the right gift or a gift card for someone in one of the partner organizations in our neighborhood, and bring the love of this community out into our larger neighborhood. Thank you.
Good morning. It's, hey, let's do that again. Good morning. Good morning. Look at that. This is probably, I'm Gay Gibson Chima, and I'm obviously very happy to be your worship associate this morning, and very humbled. This is one of my particularly favorite moments in our service as we move into worship, because this is the moment when we are allowed to recognize the sacred within each other and to greet one another. And this morning, there's a special treat because our very own Jason Sherlock is at the organ. And we are thrilled that he is here, and we are very delighted that he's going to provide some special music for us as we greet old friends and we entertain the possibilities that even if we've been coming here for decades, we can meet new friends this morning. So please greet one another.
And now, as we transition from fellowship to worship, I invite you to find your seats. And I offer you these words as a call to worship written by my colleague, the Reverend Erica Hewitt. This is the season of endings and beginnings, when the small signs of dawn pierce through the night and something new is born. But first comes the waiting. First come the lessons of endings and beginnings. The presence of life, the sheltering spirit of love, grieves with those sweeping up the debris of loss, waits with those who restlessly reach out for change, grants us courage in the night to guard each other's dreams for this holy, wondrous universe. Grant us, O universe, unfolding in mystery, a sense of your timing. May we loosen our grip on that which doesn't serve us, leaving behind that which we have outgrown and outworn. Teach us the lessons of beginnings. Remind us that such waitings and endings may be a starting place, a planting of seeds which bring to birth what is ready to be born, something right and just and different, a new song, a deeper relationship, a fuller love in the fullness of time.
This morning, we light our candle of compassion for all those who have faced or who are at this very moment facing the ravages of war. The violence of discrimination, and the sheer weight of the everyday. This candle of compassion ignites our bold imaginings for the future.
Let there be light, the light of joy, the light of happiness, and the light of contentment. May it illuminate our paths and fill our lives with peace. And let there be dark, for it is from our dark places that we are brought forward, tried and tested, and impelled toward growth. It is in these places that we realize compassion and learn to love. And there was day, and there was night, and there was joy, and there was sorrow, and it was good. And now let's speak together the traditional chalice lighting responsive words printed in your order of service. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bring both light and warmth to the world. And now I invite you to stand in body or in spirit and sing together hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. snows in the winter time.
And now it's time for our wisdom lesson. So if any of our young people and their grown-ups would like to come up and sit on the steps here or sit in the front row. So I will explain that usually people telling the wisdom stories sit on the steps with the children, but Gay and I, between us, have 0 functional knees. And we thought we could possibly sit down, but we would never get up again. Truth. So we are going to kind of stand here, and we're going to, if you move over just a little bit, we'll be able to see you, and we'll see you, and we'll just make it work on the non-functional knees. Ready? Ready. Okay, so today is the beginning of a time called Advent. For Christians, Advent is a time of waiting. And we wanted to find a story about waiting, and we did. We did. And Gay and I are going to try to act it out. It's from a book that you probably know called Waiting is Not Easy by Mo Willems. Yeah, everyone knows it. So that means you'll be able to do a really good job helping us. Gay is going to be Piggy. I am going to be Gerald the elephant, okay? And there are going to be times when we're going to need help making noises, and there are going to be times when we're going to need help using our imaginations. So is everybody ready? Gay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay. Gerald, I have a surprise for you.
Yay! What is it?
The surprise is a surprise.
Oh. Is it big?
Yes.
Is it pretty?
Yes.
Can we share it?
Absolutely.
I cannot wait.
You will have to.
Wait? What? Why?
The surprise is not here yet.
So I will have to wait for it?
Yes.
Now here's where I need some help. Can you help me groan really, really loud? Oh, well, if I have to wait, I will wait. I am waiting. Waiting is not easy. Piggy, I want to see your surprise. No! Yes, see?
I am sorry, Gerald, but we must wait.
All right, let's groan again. I am done waiting. I do not think your surprise is worth waiting for at all. I will not wait anymore. Should I go back? Yeah, I should go back? Okay, they think I should go back.
Come back! Come back.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I will wait some more.
It will be worth it.
Yeah.
Now, we're all going to have to use our imaginations. I want you to imagine that it is getting darker and darker, darker and darker and
Now
darker.
let's all groan again as it gets dark.
Piggy, we wasted a whole entire day.
Piggy, we have waited too long. It is getting dark. It is getting darker. Soon we will not be able to see each other. Soon we will not be able to see anything. We have wasted the whole day.
Well,
We have waited and waited and waited and waited, and for what?
for that. And now we have to imagine.
The lights can
we
be the
have to
stars.
imagine a very dark night sky. And what do we see in the night sky?
Stars!
Stars. How many stars?
Like 1,000! 1,000!
1,959 stars. Oh, wow.
Do you see them? Do you see them? That was worth the wait.
I know. I know.
Tomorrow morning, I want to show you something, but you'll have to wait. I want to show you the sunrise.
I cannot wait.
So that's our story about waiting patiently or not so patiently. And now, as our children go to their religious education classes, we will sing their song.
Thank you for helping us. Thank you.
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of the world you will find, to the wonders of the world you will find.
And now let's join our minds and hearts in the spirit of prayer or meditation as it is most meaningful for each one of you. First with these words of prayer by Cricket Hall, and then with silence, and then with our meditative singing. In this time of waiting, may we hold the world in our hearts. In this time of waiting, may we hold each other's hands. In this time of waiting, may we be thoughtful and introspective. In this time of waiting, may we delight in the darkness and all it teaches us. In this time of waiting, may we rekindle the fires of hope, love, joy, and peace within ourselves and our communities. In this time of waiting, may we become ready for the coming day. Let it be so.
Printed amor
Now we have the opportunity to put our faith into action. This week, 70% of our offering goes to the UUCA Social Justice Fund. As many of you know, this is the fund that pays for things such as the rental of a van to take us and amplify our voices at a very important rally, or the money that covers the costs of social events, social justice events right here in the church, the cost of supplies, for example. The rest of the offering this morning will go to other pressing needs within our community, within our church. And there are many ways to give. You can place your offering in the plate this morning, or you can mail a check to the church. You can donate online. You can donate through a text or a QR code. All of that information you'll find on your order of service. Your generous gifts, however they arrive, will be gratefully received. Ushers, please come forward. a special thank you this morning to Polymnia, our handbell choir. I'm always amazed at how the chimes, the bells move through our sanctuary. It just goes right into my soul. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. And I also want to thank our ushers, our hard-working, dedicated ushers, and I want to ask them to come forward once again, please. Thank you. Come over here. Thank you. May I ask you to join me in the blessing of the offering? We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation. Thank you so much. The reading this morning is by Reverend Jane Jepka, and it's titled Important Notice. It was published in a Warrenton, Virginia newspaper in a December long ago. If you are one of the hundreds of parachuting enthusiasts who bought our Easy Skydiving book, please make the following correction. On page 8, line 9, the words state zip code should read pull zip cord. I worry about things like this during the Christmas season. Had I been a parachuting enthusiast and had I breezed through the Easy Skydiving book during that month in December, I'd still be flying through the air, picking up speed, shouting out my state zip code. Zip codes aren't important. Rip cords are. During the Advent season, it's all too easy to confuse one for the other. The zip codes of the season, the replacement bulbs, the 4 sticks of butter, those fruit by mail catalogs, the party shoes have our attention. And before we know it, we're picking up speed and shouting out those zip codes without ever knowing why. Perhaps we should look to our rip cords, our lifelines. In December, as always, are our inner quiet, the love that we exchange, and our efforts to make the world whole. We can slow the descent. We can take in the view, and we can anticipate a gentle landing on the 25th.
Well, December can be a dangerous month. Maybe not quite as dangerous as free-falling while shouting our zip codes, but dangerous just the same. We can get so caught up in the busyness and the externally imposed expectations of the season that we really do forget our ripcords, our lifelines. We can lose perspective and run ourselves ragged. We relive old and painful memories, miss more acutely people that we have lost, stretch ourselves financially. For so many reasons, December can be a dangerous month, and for that reason, I have always loved the reading by Jane Jepka that Gay just shared with us. In fact, last fall, when Reverend Amanda was preaching, she used skydiving as a metaphor, some of you may remember, right, for taking risks and being vulnerable. And I sat there in the pews thinking about Jane Jepka's reading, and even thinking wistfully that I would probably never get to use it again now that I was retired from parish ministry. And then Reverend Amanda asked me to fill the pulpit here on the first Sunday in Advent, and voila, there it was. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Reverend Roberta Finkelstein. I use she, her pronouns. My husband and I joined this congregation in the early 1980s. We were looking for a spiritual home, a place to do faithful justice work, to grow spiritually, and to raise our family. We found all of that here and more. I found my call to ministry here. In 1992, you ordained me, and I set off on a 30-year career in settled and interim ministry. And Barry found his niche as a stewardship consultant and has been working for decades now with UU congregations all over the country in that capacity. When I retired from the parish, we returned to Northern Virginia to be close to our granddaughters, and we were so delighted and grateful to have found once again a spiritual home here. Every once in a while, we take a meditative stroll through the Memorial Garden and offer thanks to the people who a generation ago mentored us into leadership and me into ministry. This place means a great deal to us. And thank you so much for welcoming us back. And thank you, Reverend Amanda, wherever you are in the ether, for inviting me to preach on this first Sunday in Advent. The very first sermon I ever preached was from this pulpit. At that time, I was a nurse midwife, and ministry was an if only I had it all to do over again idea in the back of my mind. Barry and I were co-chairing what was then called the Social Responsibilities Committee, and in that role, we were offered a Sunday in the summer to do a service. I still remember how I felt when I stepped into this pulpit, how right it felt, how I recognized something in myself that morning. After that service, a friend said, "You know, that was a pretty good sermon. How long did it take you to write it?" And I said, 30 years, but the next one's going to be quicker. So being here this morning is like coming full circle for me, and no, it didn't take me 30 years to write this sermon. Oh, there is a sermon here. I'll start it now. In the Christian liturgical calendar, Advent is a time of expectant waiting. Waiting for what? Well, at the time of the birth of Jesus, or at least the time we think was the time of the birth of Jesus, the Israelites had been waiting for something, for the shoot that would spring from the stem of Jesse and bear fruit, according to the prophet Isaiah. They were waiting for the one who would go forth to be the ruler of Israel, according to the prophet Micah. And Elizabeth and Mary were both patiently waiting. Elizabeth, who was, according to the Gospel of Luke, old and barren, was surprised to find herself pregnant. And Mary, well, betrothed but not yet in a consummated marriage, was about to get the surprise of her life and of ours. All of those biblical texts are the inspiration for our Christian cousins practicing the spirituality of Advent. My inspiration actually comes from an old New Yorker cartoon drawn by George Booth. I want you to picture a long hallway. You are looking down the hallway towards the front door. It's a nice house, one of those Manhattan brownstones. I'm a New Yorker, so I was like, there's hardwood floors, an oriental rug runner, a huge carved wooden door with brass hardware, and sitting with back to you, facing the door, unmoving, is a dog waiting. Waiting, unmoving, patiently and expectantly for the light of his life to walk back through the door. Now, I wasn't always a dog person. We used to be cat people. But when our son was a teenager and held me in complete contempt, and our only other pet was Barry's cat, and we referred to her as Barry's cat simply because she seemed to despise Barry less than she despised everybody else, I announced that I needed one creature who would be glad to see me when I came in the door. And so off to the shelter I went. I walked through the dog room having no idea how to choose a dog. But Pepper came right up to me and said, "I've been waiting for you. I'm your dog." In his brief life up to that point, he had been passed from person to person, underfed, neglected, and abused. But still, he waited hopefully and expectantly, not fearfully or cynically or impatiently. He waited hopefully and expectantly for the person who would save him and allow him to become the dog that he was meant to be. With proper medical care and food and training and love, he became that dog. And for many years, he did indeed greet me at the door with great enthusiasm every time I came home. And then he got old. He lost his vision and his hearing. He was hobbled with arthritis, and he developed doggy dementia. He didn't even hear the door open anymore. And I began to miss that wriggling ball of enthusiasm on my return. It was my turn to be patient then, patient enough to wait until through some combination of scent and vibration, he would figure out that I was home, and he would plod slowly towards me, lean his head against my thigh, and tell me, even in his aged state, that he was glad to see me. Sometimes I would just sit down on the floor and talk to him, and he would put his head in my lap, and we would share moments of mutual love and appreciation, and I found myself wondering over and over again who had saved whom all those years ago. Now, Pepper has been gone for over a decade. When he died, Barry and I agreed that we would not get another dog. Moving, which we were doing every year or two during my interim ministry years, was easier without a dog. Traveling was easier. So off I went to the Humane Society to donate all our dog equipment. I decided to just take a peek into the dog room. And there was Brandy. She looked up at me and said, "I've been waiting for you. I'm your dog." And so she is. So what are we waiting for in this month of December? Christians around the world wait expectantly for God to once again become flesh and dwell among us, assuring us of a divine love that transcends human frailty. Pagans around the world wait expectantly for the return of the sun, assuring us that crops will once again grow and life will regenerate. So what are we Unitarian Universalists waiting for? Well, maybe the better question for us would be, how are we waiting? Like Pepper and Brandy in their crates at the shelter, are we waiting hopefully? In spite of the indifferent to cruel treatment they had received from human hands, they both still had faith in humanity, faith in life. They believed that their Savior would come. Can we take inspiration from them and for all those who have waited hopefully in spite of experiences to the contrary? It's hard to be consistently hopeful these days, isn't it? The site of the birthplace of Jesus is literally on fire. Evidence of fear and hatred is all around us. You know the litany. As Unitarian Universalists, though, the most powerful witness we can offer to a hurting world is our core faith in the possibilities of human goodness. Our hope is not an ethereal thing. It emerges from our belief, a belief that we cling to, right, Linda? We cling to it because it's our faith in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Right here and right now, in this world, in this time, we have faith in our capacity to heal ourselves and each other and our world. And so we wait, hopefully. Are we also waiting in readiness? Pepper wasn't passive in his waiting. He was alert and ready. When his human came, he immediately recognized me and came to greet me. Brandy, too. The message of Advent is to be ready. Waiting in readiness is not like waiting on hold for tech support, you know. You can't switch your phone to speaker and go do something else in the meantime. To wait in readiness is to be attentive rather than distracted. It is to be prepared rather than caught unawares. You never know when your faith in humanity will be needed. You never know when somebody close to you will need to hear our good news. Are you ready to share it when someone needs it? So we wait hopefully, we wait in readiness, and are we waiting patiently? The dog in the New Yorker cartoon didn't have a wristwatch or a Fitbit, as we now call them. He had no idea how long he would wait before the door opened and the light of his life would return. Waiting patiently may be aspirational for most of us. Like Gerald the elephant, we sometimes groan loudly when asked to wait. Or like my granddaughter, waiting her turn on a piece of playground equipment, arms crossed, giving the other kid the stink eye, tapping her toe and saying out loud, "I am waiting patiently." Okay then, if that's the best we can do, let's do that. Let's wait, sort of patiently. Maybe our goal should be to wait patiently some of the time and sort of patiently the rest of the time. Hopefully, alertly, patiently, we wait for love and companionship and the fulfillment of our dreams. Hopefully, alertly, patiently, we wait for our vision of the fulfillment of a prophecy. You know, in December, we are surrounded by faith stories and rituals of Christianity and Judaism and paganism and more. Advent, solstice, Hanukkah, Christmas, they all have stories, powerful stories attached to them. Speaking of Hanukkah, please take note of the invitation in your order of service from Kol Ami to attend the Hanukkah party here next Sunday. We went last year, and we had a fantastic time, and we came away with a very enhanced and in-depth understanding of that Hanukkah story. The stories of the season, Hanukkah, Advent, Christmas, solstice, may not be our stories, but they are familiar and they're adjacent to our stories. And if we explore them carefully, we can find the truths embedded in those stories, no matter where we are on the theological spectrum. They are all deeply spiritual stories. They're stories about love and hope, courage and freedom, justice and reconciliation. When treated metaphorically, the incarnation is not so far-fetched after all. Haven't you ever felt the restless spirit of love and justice seeking you out, impelling you forward into the world to do something that might be hard, but you're called to do it anyway? Haven't you ever felt that spirit searching for those of us who will speak up for and protect the widow and the orphan, just like in those days, thousands of years ago? You know, December can be a bit of a conundrum for Unitarian Universalists. We love the stories. We love the music. We reinterpret in our head. We sometimes change the words as we're singing. If you ever listen to a congregation singing Joy to the World, hear different interpretations of the next line. You know what I mean? Joy to the world. The Lord is come, the word is come, the this is come, the that is come. But that's who we are. So we do a bit of borrowing. We do a bit of reinterpreting. One thing I know for sure is that we all want to inoculate ourselves and our children against the real dangers of December. The busyness, the greediness, the commercialization, and the kind of extreme partisanship that imagines a war on Christmas. I want to tell you a story about the war on Christmas. I didn't tell this in the first service, but I'm going to tell it now. I was the minister in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and there was a tradition in that church of a member of the church bringing a 40-foot tall, fresh-cut tree into the sanctuary every Christmas. And it was a big sanctuary. And we would have this tree, and it was beautiful, and it smelled wonderful. And one morning, the fire marshal walked in, and he came into the office, and he said, "I'm the Grinch. It is now illegal to have a fresh-cut tree in a gathering place of more than 40 people." And they told us we had to take down the tree. Well, some people were very upset about the taking down of the tree. They'd been the person who cut it down and brought it all the way from their woods, people who had been admiring these trees. But we realized we had to honor the fire marshal's request and cut it down and take it down. And we had planned a little ritual to do that where we would thank the tree, take it down, do it peacefully. On the day of the ritual, I was at a doctor's appointment, and my cell phone lit up, and it was the administrator saying, "You're not going to believe it. There are Fox News trucks parked all outside. They want to know how we feel about the war on Christmas." I'll tell you how I feel about the war on Christmas. We took down the tree, and then our board chair had this brilliant idea. After we took down the tree, at the end of the ceremony, we took all the refreshments that we were going to have, and we walked the 1 block to the firehouse, gave them to the firefighters, thanked them, and had a party together. Whew. I actually ended up on Fox News that night. And there's a part of me that sympathizes a little bit with those who have that bumper sticker, you know, that says, "Keep Christ in Christmas." I actually think that would be a great idea. I think if we kept Christ in Christmas, the world would be a very different place, but I don't think they mean the same thing that I mean about that. But what I mean by that, what I translate that into is keep the burning coal of truth in December. Keep the awe, the hope, the willingness to take risks for the sake of love in December. Keep the affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity of every person in December. Keep reverence for the interdependent web of all existence in December. This is what Advent can mean for Unitarian Universalists. We can practice waiting, hopefully, alertly, and patiently. Maybe not for someone from the branch of Jesse, maybe not for someone imbued with divinity, or maybe so. Maybe we are all just waiting for each other to come to our senses, to bring our very best selves to the table and create the kinds of relationships in our families and our congregations and our neighborhoods and our nation and the global community that we yearn for. Hopefully, alertly, and not so patiently, we're waiting for the death of racism and greed and fear and environmental depredation. Or we're waiting at least for a glimpse of the possibility that we will move farther along on that aspirational journey, and that our dreams will come to fruition in some way, knowing that that will only happen with our help in this time and in this place. A generation ago, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the beat poet, wrote these words. I am waiting to get some intimations of immortality by collecting my early childhood. And I am waiting for the green mornings to come again, for some strains of unpremeditated art to shake my typewriter. And I am waiting to write the great indelible poem. And I am waiting for the last long rapture. And I am perpetually waiting for the fleeting lovers on the Grecian urn to catch each other at last and embrace. And I am awaiting perpetually and forever a renaissance of wonder. What are you waiting for? And how are you waiting? I invite you now to turn to hymn number 226 in your hymnal, a lovely Advent hymn. Stand in body and spirit, and we will sing together.
Today, love the guest is on the way. Furrows be glad, the work is fair. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love the rose is on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim. One more light the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love, the star is on the way.
Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. The words are in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
Our benediction is a blessing or a sending forth, and I send you forth now out into the world of December with these words by Leslie Takahashi. This is the season of anticipation, of expecting, of hoping, of wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. We are waiting. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. This is the time for digesting the lessons of days gone past, anticipating the future for which we are waiting. Waiting for a world which can know justice, waiting for a lasting peace, waiting for the bridge to span the divide that separates us, waiting for a promise or a hope. For all of this, we are waiting.